And we're just sitting here going, Hannah, hello, Hannah. We guess we lost her. Says she's connected. All we hear are these stomach gurgling noises.
No, she has been found.
She has been resurrected.
I feel alive.
That's fantastic.
Jesus Christ.
Johnny, how's it been, mate? Have you missed us?
It's been okay. Of course. This time in particular worked very well because I got my shithead kids and I can just watch Spurs, donate a victory to a shitty team and then record.
Right. So we said, what did we say? It's going to be called the Philanthropic. What was it? The Philanthropy of Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah,
Yes,
Philanthropy of Tottenham Hotspur.
Exactly what it's going to be called. The Philanthropy of Tottenham Hotspur. How fucking ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
You know that James, whenever he comes on, he just mutes himself. All
Does
the
he?
time.
Want to talk.
Yeah, he's muted now. Yeah, he comes on, he just mutes himself. I don't know what he does every single time for a good 2 minutes, and then he says something.
Maybe he wants to hear people's voices as he's finishing jacking off.
Well,
It's your voice.
he just finished wiping his arse, so probably the same thing.
No, we're here.
Yeah.
The toilet paper didn't
Pretend
break
it's a
either,
penis,
which is really good for a
Pretend it's a
change.
penis, James. It worked for Hannah. Pretend it's a
Poke your finger
penis.
through.
I prefer to lick it clean, personally, but
Yeah. Pretend
That's
it's a
what she
penis.
said.
especially when it's a bit cheesy.
So Josh right now is trying to figure out if the other kids are his, right?
Yeah, he's swabbing them as we speak.
You know, I leave the pod for what's it been, like 2 months, maybe 3 months.
He's got 3
And
year old.
Josh has more kids. What the fuck happened?
He just appears with more children.
Yeah.
He's like a child health department for the fucking state at this point, isn't he?
He is ironically now social services.
Yeah. They usually take him away from him, but I guess he's donating his time.
Yeah, if he spreads his seed fast enough, he just recoups all the ones he loses.
Gross.
Were you there at the game?
Sadly, yes, I was.
I was so pumped for
Very
this game. I was so pumped for this game, honestly.
I was too. I thought
Why
we were
were you
gonna just bash him.
No, the script was so obvious. Like, before an international game, we've had a shit show midweek. We've beaten City and Villa recently, and there's been a few injuries. Like, it was just obvious, like, what was going to happen.
And they had 0 wins, so that should have been obvious too.
Exactly, like winless before an
Yeah,
international break.
that's true.
Come on.
Yeah.
And it's fucking Ed
That's a good
Sheeran's
point.
club, this fucking nation of inbreds.
Well, saying that,
Is that
welcome
why they showed him on the fucking on the tele? Is that why they showed Ed Sheeran on the fucking broadcast? Whoever was sitting to his right looked like, well, I guess in the U.S. we would say straight from the trailer park, but maybe, I don't know, band of gypsies on your end of the pond? What do you call them? They just look like fucking trash. Is that his wife? Is that his girlfriend? Who was it?
If Ed Sheeran has a girlfriend, I'm ending my life, to be honest.
He's got a wife.
That's where I draw the line. He has a wife. Oh, they're different. That's fine. If he had a girlfriend as well, then I'd be...
So, as I was trying to say,
Did you
welcome to Hotspur Way. You want to interrupt me again?
Oh.
The American
Sorry.
comes on, invites me twice. Welcome to Hotspur Way Season 2, Episode 13. The Philanthropic... I can't even say it. What is it? Philanthropic
Philanthropy?
case.
Nearly
Pedophilic.
said cock.
The Philanthropic case of Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, other than Ed Sheeran, his trashy wife, AliExpress, who else did we... won't mention AliExpress again. What else? Sainsbury's gay rugby.
Just rugby would do, but yeah.
It's just no.
Large bum holes.
A couple of rosebuds.
And Hummers.
Yep. And Hannah putting a microphone in her keister.
That's the
Again.
time.
Hannah, can you reenact the noise you make when that happens?
Yeah.
Well,
Whose
guess it's
is
part of
that?
the
Interesting.
course.
Fucking hell.
Listen, you invite me on. You
Well, that's
invite
always
me on.
handmade.
Of course my fucking phone rings. Are you kidding me? Fucking not even 2 minutes in, my phone rings. That's great. You know how many phone calls I've taken today, honestly? Including that one? One. And I'm not kidding. My phone hasn't rang all fucking day, except when I power the microphone on. Oh, everybody wants to talk to Johnny. See how he's doing today. Fuck off. God, that's hysterical.
And the
It's
return
like
of Johnny.
when you go on holiday and you can just tell there's an American around. Johnny's just encapsulated that.
Yeah, a phone ringing with swearing. That's right. Yep.
Yep.
That's about
Fuck
right.
off.
So
Fuck
Josh is going to be on apparently, right? Apparently.
So he claims. So he
Yes.
claims.
We'll wait for him to come on. James, were you there as well, mate?
No, I wasn't.
Right.
First home game I've not been to this season.
I've not been to any. Hannah, you were there. Tell us about the game. There you go. That's enough. That's all
I
we
know,
need to know.
yeah, there's not really a hell of a lot of dissecting to do. It was really, really shit. How about that? There was no atmosphere. The atmosphere was terrible. And I think what James was saying was right. It just kind of had that feeling about it before that it just was going to bomb.
So,
yeah.
can I tell you what I've got a bit of a problem with? I think Kieran McKenna's a great manager. I say that because I've watched 0 Ipswich games other than today. But I say that because a lot of people who do know him, including Spurs coaches, have said that they haven't seen a better manager and someone with ideas that he has like him. They've never seen it before. Nicky Butt was saying it. I've got Ryan, well, not me, but Ryan Mason has been saying it. Quite a few people have been saying it, and I'm not worrying. I'm not starting to worry, right? But when you come up against great managers, they seem to have our number, whether it's regards to us going into an international break or not. I don't know if there's a trend being built here. Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong, please. Anyone?
I'd like to say so, but I mean, Galatasaray midweek proved it as well.
No, you can't say that, mate.
We can.
Right, it's the opposite of Man City. When we played them, we put out a half-pint team.
Yeah, but we still were just absolute gash, weren't we?
Yeah, we were, but it wasn't a full side. We had a lot of kids. They hadn't played for 8 days.
It doesn't matter. Like, we still fucking shat the bed. I mean, it doesn't matter, which way you lay the duvet. The bed was still shat. Like, that's the bottom line of it.
All right, let's just go through the fixtures a minute and let's see if we're right. Well, if I'm right, I don't know if you lot agree with it, but we'll just see. Previous months. Right. We start in August. The guy who escaped from a headlock, the Leicester manager, I don't count him in that. We didn't play
Newcastle.
Eddie Howe's right, he's a good manager. He is. Right, do we all agree with that? He's in the top.
He's a great manager.
Would you say he's in the top 5 in the Premier League? Yep. Arteta, God, I fucking hate the guy. Would you say he's in the top 5 in the Premier League?
Mr. Lego Head. Purely out of spite and because I have a gender, no.
Right, okay. Then we...
Brighton.
He's
a cracking manager.
He's a kid. But, yeah, he's shaping up to be, right? Lost again. I'm just taking a look at our losses. And...
Palace.
Other than, but that, I think that was just an off day. But to fit my agenda, yes, let's add it to the list.
I mean, that was the same kind of off day we had today, though, wasn't it?
No, Palace was, I think, a lot worse, mate. Palace was dire. It's the worst performance I've seen.
Really shit.
It was ranked, other than Coventry. It was
Yeah,
abysmal.
that's true.
Then
Under Ange, I would agree with that.
yeah, and then Ipswich. So, am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean... Oh,
Go
sorry.
on. No, say it.
On. No, I was going to say, it just is, yeah. Like, when we're good, we're really, really fucking good. And that's when we do, like, the 3 goals in, like, 90 seconds type bullshit we can do. But when we're bad, and teams have us sort of, like, kind of sus, and we just don't have things falling into place, we really do stink the gaff out, don't we?
Yeah, look, I've got to be fair though. If I'm going to go with this thing where we're saying we're coming up against good managers, Emery, we dicked him, didn't we? So I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Let's just say I need to be wrong. Yeah, but I need to be wrong. I need to be wrong on this because because I don't want to be right. We shouldn't be right on this. I don't know what it was. I mean, Hannah, how bad was it? How bad was the atmosphere? What was it like?
It was absolutely terrible.
What, from start to finish?
There's no. Yeah, it was. It was written in the stars. Let's just say that. Like, you just knew them not having a win, it was going to be us. So, yeah, I think everybody kind of went in with that in mind. I mean, they did the sort of Remembrance Sunday stuff at the beginning. That was nice. Enjoyed that. Minute silence was great, but unfortunately we carried on that minute silence for 90. So
we're a very respectful crew.
Yeah.
Johnny, what was your take, mate? You were at the Dog and Pony?
Yeah. Well, first off, there were Ipswich fans there, which boggles my mind. I didn't know there were any fans.
Were they Americans
in the US? Yeah. Oh yeah.
How do you support Ipswich?
Ed Sheeran must be.
I agree.
Must be Ed Sheeran.
They had scarves, they had shirts, they had sweatshirts on. I'm like, what the fuck are these mental patients doing here? Like, honestly. I guess one of them was
because over here
was a British. I don't know. What? Wait, are we all inbred from the US?
No, I'm saying like Ipswich fans in the UK are all inbred, so I wondered if that was the same like over the pond.
Maybe that's the same in the US. No, they all had closed shoes on. It's cold up here in Michigan in the wintertime, Josh. Or James, sorry. But I mean, you know what I was just thinking? It's almost like when we go against what we perceive as an easier team, we shit the bed. And I'm wondering if it's a mentality thing, like they don't take it serious enough because they think they're just going to win. And then we really stack it on or put it together for a more difficult team. I mean, I guess it's been like that for the past few years, though, right? We seem to bring it in when it's a fucking important match. And when it's a shit team, we're like, oh, wait, what? What are we doing here? Losing the ball. Refs were not on our side today. We didn't have any calls. That handball, I still don't know. I mean, yeah, sure, it was a handball, but whatever. Yeah, just disappointment all around. I think there was nothing that went our way, really. Nothing.
Johnny and James, you watched it on the TV, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't receive it. Okay, you didn't receive it telepathically as you weren't there. Right, it's a stupid question for me, but
I'll shave my pubes, all right?
Are you old enough to have them? So when did you? Maybe Johnny, you saw it just before the second half kicked off. Ange was in deep thought on the touchline. Did anyone notice this?
Mm-mm.
You didn't see it. He was, the thinking man kind of thing.
Yep.
Statue. Yeah, he was like that. You could see that I don't know. He must have said nothing worked. Whatever he said to him at halftime didn't. Well, it sort of did, I suppose. It did. We came out better, right? We did, but. He was in really deep thought, and it panned to him for a good few seconds. And he was in his zone. He couldn't hear or anything. It was just thinking about, I don't know what, which was interesting. Maybe thinking like, what the fuck do I have to do to get him going? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was good to have Andros Townsend on our feed. Did you have Andros Townsend in the States?
I don't know who that is.
Andros Townsend, he played for Spurs. He's half Cypriot.
Okay. No idea. But I mean, I was in a bar full of people, so it was pretty loud.
So the co-commentary, if he was really biased towards Spurs, then you had the same feed as us. He couldn't. Sometimes he forgot that he, was there to like try and be neutral, which was great. It's the first time I've seen him like co-commentate on a Spurs game, which was interesting, and it was good. He's a good kid, by the way, really good kid.
I'll probably watch it again, and I could inform you at that point in time.
All right. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's the first time we're recording on a Sunday after a game, and it's been a good few hours after, like 4 hours after. But I'm at a loss. I don't know what to say because we play into the fucking narrative. Before international break, check. Dr. Tottenham, check, because we've not won a game all season. Their manager is ex-Spurs. We have to give it to him. Yeah, let's do that. And I'm getting sick of it. I don't know what to say anymore. Anyone?
I don't think there's a lot to say, to be honest. Like, something about the game just felt off on a whole. Like, I thought even the substitutions were weird, and I thought the lineup was wrong from the start. It was very weird, and the fact
what would you
Madison
have done?
Didn't come on.
What would you have done for the
Dragusin? That's for sure.
He's your favourite player, isn't he? I can tell from the
WhatsApp group. I've got posted of him on my wall. I beat to him every night.
To be fair, that's understandable if you do.
He's not that good looking.
Oh,
I could appreciate good looking, but he's not. He wouldn't look outside of in spoons doing security. Like, he wouldn't look amiss. Right. Let's get the facts straight here. All right.
That's me told.
Back down in your box. Yeah, he can't pass the ball. He's just so clumsy in everything he does. He's got no awareness. He's all right if, he's got to defend the box. He's okay there, but how often do we do that as a team? Very rarely. And look, the one time we did have to do it, he put the ball in our own net. So what does that say? I don't think he's an improvement on any centre-back we've had in the last decade or so, probably more. Anyway, enough about that gypsy fraud. I would have started Davies. Madison should have come on a lot sooner. I thought it was really weird he didn't come on until like the 80th minute. Like, I kept seeing like spaces in like the pockets, sort of. I think they call it the half space, the real tactic nonces. Popping up all over the place, like really good zones. I thought if you just had Madison coming in there, it would just get a lot more out of it than Johnson, who's not really had any impact on the game. Son didn't really have an impact. Solanke, again, no service. It just felt really odd.
So should this have been a game where we had Madison and Kulusevski playing as the 8/10s?
I think so. I think so. They just had to do something different, or even have Madison wide just to get him in the team, because it just felt off. Like, again, there was a few things that really clicked for us, and the final ball was off throughout. But yeah, that was rough, and it just felt like something was off in the. There's no way Ange in that situation would have only brought on Madison with like 10 or less minutes to go. But especially when he didn't even play the full 90 midweek, like, it just felt off. Like, I thought there was something in the dressing room after the Galatasaray game, or even leading up to it.
You think something? So you're insinuating that Madison and Ange are not best mates at the moment?
They're not friends. I don't believe they are. No, they're not chums.
I wondered about Madison as well. But I think our friend Taj needs to, take a pill from some other Spurs fan that isn't all doom and gloom all the time. I don't think Dragusin is that bad. I mean, I think he's got room to grow.
Shit, mate.
There it is. I think he has room to grow. But I mean, I would go
fucking
back.
room. He's 6'9" and still wank as a centre back. What other role is there for him?
the beginning of the season when he played, not or was it the end of last season? I can't remember. When he had some good games in there, decent games.
The games
right?
we lost.
No, that doesn't make any sense. Anyway,
No, I'm getting onto this. Hang on.
Fine.
I know you are. But again,
Give me 5
but
minutes.
you can't put it down to just that. Let's say that we did lose them every game that he's been in. You can't put it down to that one player, right? There's fucking 10 other guys on the fucking field. And if
It's just not a coincidence, though, is
Yeah,
it?
Lloris, eat shit. We're going to get onto Lloris later. Fucking frog. Sorry, that's racist.
And there's
I'm not allowed to
there
say
is
frog
one.
anymore, am I?
Yeah, there is one thing that I agree, Taj, that, or maybe you didn't even say it, so I'll just say it and say we probably agree on the difference between Van de Ven and Dragoshin is vast, with speed, with recovery, with passing, everything. But Van de Ven is also really good. Dragoshin, I think, is probably more pedestrian, mid-table kind of team guy, where Van de Ven is definitely high dollar.
Polite.
Can I say something about that? If we had Conte or let's say Mourinho actually as manager, I think Dragoshin would be outstanding. But I don't know why we signed him. I don't know why we signed him because he doesn't seem to fit in to the way we play. Okay, so I had this debate today, and I was basically told by one of the guys in the pub, because I said I think Romero's been off this season. He slows everything down, and he looked at me. He's an older. It's Marios. You know who Marios is. The guy who was showing us pictures.
Of him saved on my laptop.
Yeah, him. Yeah. Right. He was the first person in Cyprus to download the pod, and it was like great. No, it was really cool. Anyway, the point is, he said to me, he is the type of player that will break a press. And if you can't see that, James, I don't know why you're doing a podcast. And I thought, what fuck? Outside now. And then I thought, I'll kill him. But he's right. He's so right. Because what he does is he does slow the game down. But when they go to press, in goes the inside pass or the through pass. And then that's it. The press is done and it's over with. Dragoshin is a low block team defender. Right now, anyway. Maybe he'll grow into something different. He won't ever get his pace. He won't get pace like even like Romero, to be honest with you. He won't get that pace. Forget Van de Ven's. So is he a bad player? No, I don't think so. I just think he's not suited to the way that we play. I don't know if that'll ever change. I don't know.
I agree with that.
No,
Taj will say he should be hung up by his fucking ankles from a town center, but
how are you a professional footballer and you can't pass a fucking football?
It's so funny,
Like,
by the way.
centre back, there's you've got so many options. You've got no pressure on you, and if you do, you can just go back to the goalkeeper. And every pass is so lazy. Yeah, it's caught unaware. It's like your one job is being the last line of defence, and centre back's the easiest role to play in a game of football, maybe besides fullback. But even then, fullback's harder because you've got to have the stamina to get up and down all night. Mind boggles. Bring back fucking Benji Kamalu, whoever the fuck that South African guy's name was. Jesus Christ, anything but a Dragoshin.
You don't like him, do you? It was so funny on the group. Like Hannah, I think it makes you giggle as well. Whenever Todge comes on and he just calls him an oaf.
He just gets an oaf.
If you go onto our WhatsApp group and you search for oaf, you'll find James's name and about 15 occurrences. It's just such an oaf. Hate him.
He is.
Just die.
He's pretty much. Honestly, ship him off. Where's Josh's lorry when you need it? Fuck me.
I think James is just jealous of the beautiful man that Dragoshin is.
I agree.
No. Have you seen that bloke's beard or attempt at a beard? Shambolic.
Have you seen my attempt at a beard? Fuck off. I mean,
better than Dragoshin's.
I'll take. No, it's not. I'm cancer boy. Remember? No, it's. No, it's not. I don't. Okay, I just need to ask this question one more time, because I don't think it came across better. When I went to the pub for the first time ever in years, there were people singing songs. Right, it was when the trumpet was going, but they were singing. They were singing "I Want to Be in That Number." They want to. They were singing that out loud, and I just thought my prediction of 5-1 is going to happen. Then the first goal went in, and they said, "That's fine, don't worry about it." And I said, "Yeah, I'm still pumped." So Hannah, are you saying that in the stadium before even kickoff, it felt weird. It felt down.
Yeah, I expected after the Remember It's Sunday thing, after the silence, after all that, I expected like this massive, I don't know, roar, I guess, but it was just a bit flat. And I don't normally trash. I know a lot of people like to, but I don't normally trash the atmosphere in that place because it is what it is. But I didn't feel it. I just didn't. I'm normally quite positive as well, so.
I was gonna say, was the weather shitty? But I guess it's UK, so I can just assume it was probably shitty.
Nothing new. It was
It was shitty.
too bad.
It was shitty here. It's been thunderstorming all day. What's it like there, mate? What's in Celsius? Don't tell us the.
Oh,
don't tell us the aftershave. The aftershave.
Celsius bullshit. Well, let me
Fucking
bear with me
Fahrenheit.
while I do some fucking conversions and shit.
Mate, in 5 years when me and you are 50, we'll be wearing Fahrenheit. Okay, just tell us in Celsius.
Well, it's cloudy and rainy right now.
Yeah.
And let me look for my Fahrenheit to Celsius here. And in Celsius, it is, God damn it, 14.
No, not bad. Say 18 here.
Yeah, 14. It started out at 6 this morning.
Right. So what we're doing now on this podcast is we're blaming the weather.
Yep.
Right.
There we go.
I've got to blame someone.
Yeah. Seasonal affective disorder. They're all depressed because it's been too cloudy.
I just I can't get that shot of Ange doing the thinking man thing on the side of the pitch just before kickoff of the second half. I don't know. It was really weird. It was like he was upset, but he was in deep thought. It was like he didn't know what had happened, or I just need to try and turn this around somehow. I don't know, mate. It was weird.
He always looks like he's thinking a lot to me.
Mate, this was a thinking man statue. He was doing that.
Okay.
He was actually doing that.
I was going to say, he goes between thinking and yelling, basically.
Let's take a look at some questions. Aussie Ardelis at Man About Dog Blog. Why can't Angelos Postecoglou look at people when he's talking? I don't know.
I never noticed he hasn't.
No, I mean,
he's in like the post-match interviews.
In interviews, he doesn't, and there's no one's ever talked about that. People that know him don't ever talk about that. I don't know. Hannah, what do you think it is? I've got my suspicions. I've got a feeling that you're going to say the same thing. What do you think it is?
I genuinely don't know.
Mega autism.
Possibly. That was my first thought. I won't say it. Yeah, I can't say I've ever noticed it.
You've never seen him do post-match interviews where he
I think
never
I've just
looks.
never thought anything up. I tell you what I do, right? And this might play into the mega autism thing. When I talk to people, I really struggle to look them in the eye. I look around at everything else, but when I'm listening, I stare you dead in the eye. Does that make sense? So I don't know if that's. But I've never really noticed.
I know
it.
exactly what you mean. I do the same. I struggle with eye contact direct. Oh, it's not a
when
good
I'm
feeling.
talking.
That's it. Listening's different.
Yeah. So I don't know. What were you going to say?
I was gonna. Johnny, is that your phone again?
Yep.
Wow. Third time.
Like an American.
Yep. Yep.
What I was gonna say was that maybe it's a tick. I think. I didn't think that it was before, but I think now it's a tick. I think it's just like the cough that he does. I think that's a tick as well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he needs to go and get that checked out because you know what the NHS says. If you've got a cough for more than 3 weeks, go to your GP. He's had that for years, so he needs to go and get himself checked out. Or is it? And
you can't see a GP here. So.
Yeah, but
I've never noticed it. I need to pay attention to it because it could be a tick. Usually people I guess I want to see what his eyes are doing. Like, are they darting around the room? Are they looking down? Are they looking to the side? Are they looking up? One tells you he's thinking. The other one could tell you that he's maybe trying to hide something, not being dishonest, but maybe more of an unsure of his own space. But none of those really fit to me, so it I don't know. I'll have to watch the post game and see. I'm sorry, post match. Don't let me offend people by
He's
saying
always
game.
looking down. So that helps.
All right, so Jamie Turtle at its_Jamie21. Why are we so inconsistent, and do you still believe in Ange? I do. That's a Ricky Sachs leading question, mate. Hannah, do you still believe in Ange?
I do. I appreciate the inconsistency issue, but I just feel like I can't not at this point because, like we've said before, what's the alternative?
Yep.
I don't even think it's about alternatives. Johnny, over to you, and then I'll give you Todd.
Yeah.
And then, oh, sorry, darling. I thought you finished.
No, it's okay. I don't necessarily mean alternatives in terms of who do we switch them out for, but I just mean where we've spoken before about philosophy and the embedding of that and embedding a culture. You can't just be switching things up. So I guess the alternative would be to just stick a fork in it and start again, and then we end up here again. But yeah.
Yep. I'm with Hannah. I'm with Hannah on that one. I would much rather have some inconsistency now, knowing that we're moving in the right direction. And I mean, I've said it before on the pod, back when I was on it. If we won all the time, it would be just as equally as boring and shitty as if we lost all the time. Sure, it would feel better, but the stir of emotion wouldn't be nearly as great when, I don't know how City fans deal with it. Honestly, it's not fun. I mean, we've all played video games with cheat codes on. It's not fun. Sure, you win everything, and you're like, yeah, this is cool, and you fucking end up turning it off 20 minutes later because you're just so unaffected by it. So enjoy it. Yeah, it sucks now, but when we win again, it's gonna be fucking glorious, and you're gonna feel like you just came in your pants and shit on Taj's head because he's such an asshole, and all that stuff.
Todd, what do you think, mate? Same thing or?
How do I say this?
He's fully Ange out. He's fully Ange out.
Nah, I'm not Ange out. The issue is, I don't think.
Well, you're Dragish out, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, very good.
Do you like that one?
Dragish out.
I'm here all day.
Yeah, I'm not Ange out. I think the difficult thing for Ange or any manager would have is that I don't think any manager can come in and make a success of Tottenham Hotspur with the current board and ownership. I think that's just the way it is. And it takes someone really special, like how Poch was in the peak years under him. Like, it's going to take a special manager to really close the gap between what the board will sort of have set as their goals and objectives versus what the players' objectives and what the manager's objective will be. And do I think there's currently anyone better than Ange for this role? No. Do I think if come the end of his contract next season, if we still aren't, I hate to say this, but if we aren't in the top four, there in and around, we haven't lifted any silverware, then do we have to start sort of making questions and seeing what is the right way forward? But again, it's a poison chalice. I don't think any manager can come to Tottenham and really, make us an institution in winning silverware.
You know that bald guy who looks like a bouncer, Daniel Levy's brother-in-law, the one on the touchline.
Oh yeah, was it Alan something?
I don't know his name. Do you? So I have always said, and it was made very apparent when Conte and when Mourinho basically said that he can't change things at this club. Then Conte said what he said. It all sounds like micromanagement to me, and then you have I don't know if you've heard about David Pleat's book, where Tim Sherwood went to go and see the board because Glenn Orr wasn't picking him, and the board accepted to see a player because of that reason. I have a problem with micromanagement. I have a problem with anyone who wants to micromanage anyone. If you hire someone to do a job, let them do a job. And I do think, and I've always thought that you have people on the inside there like that guy. So I'm pretty sure that if Daniel said to him, "What's going on?" he might say whatever. And I don't know. I don't know what he's saying. Is it accurate? Maybe he doesn't like Ange. Maybe he's going to say things that are biased towards his own agenda. I have no idea. I don't know what's going on there. But I've got a feeling that if that were the case with Ange right now, I think he's the kind of guy that maybe would walk. I don't think he's going to accept that kind of insubordination, basically, from anyone.
No, I don't think he would. I think that guy's official role is like player liaison officer. So, that is kind of going to be his remit to feedback anything to.
He's part of the nepotism department, isn't he? I mean, fuck me. What's he doing?
I think his background was military or something.
He looks it. Yeah, he looks it.
But yeah, and I just wanted to lead on because there was another story again. It comes from Tim Sherwood. So I'd take it with a pinch of salt. But yeah, I think he was on Radio 5 Live. He was, of course, in an interview. He said that basically Levy asked him why this Soldado wasn't playing, and he asked Sherwood, play Soldado, as the £30 million big summer signing. Like, why isn't he getting the use out of the asset, basically? And this is when Sherwood was playing Kane and sort of wanted to push Kane. I don't know how true that is.
I believe it. I actually believe everything that Sherwood says. Not when he makes stupid predictions like he used to do. Now he seems to be pro Spurs, but when he says stuff like that, I do believe it. I don't take it with a pinch of salt. I believe it. Then again, I can understand a chairman who's just spent 26 million on a dud. 26 million back then was a lot of money. It is, let's say, a 65 million pound striker today, right? And mate, we've got this asset, and what's going on. I can sort of understand Levy's point of view on that. Do you know what I mean? I can. Willie B, Spurs Chiefs, got loads of questions in. This Sunday recording thing seems to be working. Who fell off their chair? John, is that you again?
Nope, I'm here.
No, that was my phone. It just sort of slipped where it was charging.
All right.
Won't happen again.
Better not. Last 4 international breaks, we've lost the game before. Why is that? Unreal crying emoji. I think we sort of covered it. I don't know. None of us know the reason. Angie's thinking man doesn't seem to know the reason. Johnny, you've unmuted yourself. Are you going to say something interesting?
I was going to say, I think it's because the stars don't align, and the wolf is not crying to the miniature cupcake. I don't know. It's all bullshit. It's just a fucking pattern. It's, who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Get off of it and just enjoy the goddamn run, would you? Fucking fans.
We've been going for nearly an hour. We covered Galatasaray. There's nothing else to say, is there? Anyone want to say anything about that before we move on to the cancelled theme?
Nope.
Or do you want to talk about Lloris first?
Nope.
There's a bit of Lloris.
Should we do a bit of Lloris?
Right. Yeah, why not?
Lloris quotes.
Fuck yeah.
Okay. All right. Lloris quotes book. Let me just... It's best to actually say them as they are, right? Instead of...
Yeah.
There we go.
In the meantime, have we seen Adele's in talks to do a series of shows at the ground?
What? Is she?
That'd be great. I could maybe convince
cool.
my lovely girlfriend to go see Adele at the stands then.
That'd be perfect. Mate, easy way to get a woman on side, Adele.
Yes.
Anyone know where his quotes are before I paraphrase and fuck it all up and then?
Probably.
They probably sound all
anyone of
French.
Chris Cowlin, Last Word on Spurs, or Lily White Rose. Any one of those 3 accounts.
1 minute. Lloris quotes about Champions League watch. Let's see. I'm sure Bob will know, but let's leave him for the time being. Okay, here we go. I've got the Guardian up. They're normally respectable a little bit. You all know the story, right? You know what's happened? Yeah, of course you do. So, 4 days before the final, Daniel Levy called us together to announce, so this is 4 days before, right? With the support of a sponsor, he has to get that one in, we would each receive a luxury aviator watch from the club. At first, we're excited to see the elegant boxes. That's fucking cares about the box? Anyway, then we opened them and discovered that it was a Casio. No, then we opened them and discovered that he had the back of each timepiece engraved with the player's name and Champions League finalist 2019. Finalist? Who does such a thing at a moment like this? I still haven't gotten over it. I'm not alone. If we'd won, he wouldn't have asked for the watch's back to have winner engraved instead. Right, let's start off with Levy. I think that what he did, it wasn't great. It wasn't. But the thing is, he doesn't have these like read the room people skills. And then again, we don't know, was he really the person who had them engraved? Did he say this, or was it the sponsor? I don't know. Lloris says he, specifically, he says that he had them engraved. Is that true?
I think Livy's micromanagement, I think, would have led to that ultimately.
Okay.
I think he'd have wanted to like be, oh well, this would be a nice touch for them, and it's a good achievement for the club. But yeah.
So,
I mean, let's look at it. Let's just take everything he says and believe that it's true. Is it a bad thing for somebody to give you a gift that says basically we made an achievement, regardless of if we won, right? We made an achievement. Here, have something. And it was also coming off of that semifinal that was absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't have done that.
No, I don't think it's a good move. It's kind of weird, but I mean, it's not bad. I think Lloris is just being a French prick.
We're fucking racist on this episode tonight, right? So, do you want to hear my take? Right, when you've got a team, it doesn't matter whether it's in football, an office, factory. It doesn't fucking matter, right? Rugby, changing room. James, I know you like that kind of thing, right? It doesn't fucking matter. Why the fuck didn't you come out at the time and say something? Or why didn't you come out when you left the club? Could it be that you're just trying to sell a book and you need some sensationalism? Why didn't you go to the chairman immediately? Because you don't say in this book, well, maybe, imagine if he does it. I'll be right up to, wouldn't I, if he does. But the comments here are showing us that he doesn't go to the chairman immediately and say, oi, why did you do this? Why did you do this, you fucking clown? He doesn't say anything like that. That was 5.5 years ago, nearly. And now you mention it.
Yeah.
Weren't you part of the fucking team? Weren't you part of the team that shouldn't have lost 2-0?
He was the fucking captain.
He was the captain as well, and that I was going to get to that, which makes it even more ridiculous that you're saying this.
Did he give the watch back?
Did he give it back? Did he donate to charity?
Did he sell it for Coke?
Probably would have done it for a few bottles.
Just spitballing. Yeah, I'm just spitballing here.
I don't know. I mean, really, stuff like this when it's after the fact and you've got one side of the story where someone did something nice. Like Daniel Levy, honestly, I don't think is a people person. People that know him, they've all said this to me. He's not the kind of, he'll go and shake your hand. Like, for instance, I'm looking at a picture of him right now on this Guardian article. I'll post it in the group. You can see exactly what I'm talking about. Right, and I know that sometimes photographers just capture silly pictures of people. But if you take a look at that, he's shaking Harry Kane's hand, and he looks nervous. He looks like, I don't know what to say. He's that kind of person. You see him. There's a reason why he doesn't do too many TV interviews and why he's never in the limelight.
He's a numbers guy.
Yeah, but he's just not a people person. He did something that he thought was nice and genuine. Do you know what I mean? And this is what he gets from the captain, who should have fucking known better. What? There's more comments as well.
I think it goes both ways though, because I don't think it shows that Livy is actually really that in touch with.
But he's not in touch with
football as a whole.
But
he's not. It's not just issue.
But he's not just in touch. Yeah, I know. That's why we've got Munn there now, and we hope that he's doing something, right? He's not that kind of person. Do you know what I mean? He just never has been.
But Munn wasn't there before, and I think Lloris is showing
know.
frustrations that the priorities have never really been that far on the football side.
Maybe it's military background. I can't take it if something goes wrong internally. You keep your fucking mouth shut. You don't then open it up to go and sell your book. There are things that happened. I can tell you, I will never ever divulge some of the stuff that happened. It doesn't matter if it was against me or against anyone. You keep it in house until the day you fucking die. You're the captain, for goodness sake. I don't know. Maybe I've just been taught differently. Maybe I don't get it. You don't open your mouth. You want to sell James. You want to sell a book. You find other ways to sell a book.
Maybe it's a little more old school, like we are. These young kids don't know what the fuck they're doing generally in life.
Hannah, you've been quiet.
I'm enjoying this bit of back and forth. I just I think it's all a bit ridiculous. Like if that is Lloris's equivalent of whistleblowing on the club, there's fallen a bit flat, hasn't it? I don't know. I don't think it's anything to do with Levy not sort of getting the football side of things, because I actually don't think that is really anything to do with it. I just think maybe he thought it was either a nice thing to do or it made him look good, and it just fell flat. I don't think it was a horrible thing to receive a luxury watch.
Yep.
I think the way it was put across though is just weird. Like the fact he had to say from the help of our sponsors. Like in reality, he didn't need to say that. Like obviously,
no, but he didn't need to do any of it.
But well, that's the thing, and I think I see both sides of it. God, we hate people that sit on the fence.
But if Lloris was, if Lloris had done this book, and in that he had said, Levy did this, it gave me a watch, it pissed me off, so I had it out with him, and this was the conversation, that would be a bit different.
Yeah, a lot
but
different.
But to just, like James said, to just not say anything except the watch, obviously, and then 5 years later start crying about how awful it was. I just find that utterly bizarre, especially as, like you said, captain of that team.
Yeah,
entirely on the players anyway. So
I just thought of something as well.
Yeah.
If Levy said that it was from the sponsors, and then he had it engraved, quote unquote, what if the sponsors went to Levy and basically said, "Hey, we want to do something because this is great. You guys made it. Da 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 da. We also want to do, maybe get them engraved or something, blah, 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 blah." And then they gave them to Levy or made Levy decide, basically give it a yay or nay. If I was the owner of a business that Levy is and a sponsor or somebody that I do significant business with wanted to come and give me some money to give to my employees, then why would I tell them no? Even if it fell flat and et cetera, but at the same time, he's kind of just channeling the money, or he's channeling the gift to his employees, thinking it's probably a good thing. And then, already said, but Lloris comes out and shits on it, or makes it sound kind of devious or underhanded, or just not being able to read the room. Maybe Levy really didn't have a say in it, in a sense, because he didn't want that relationship. He didn't want to basically tell a sponsor, no, we don't want your money, we don't want your gifts for our players. Just hold on to that. And obviously that's Levy's to manage, but I wouldn't say no if I was Levy in that predicament.
I'm going to read the last sentence of this quote, which for me sums up Hugo Lloris. With an engraving like that, Levy couldn't be surprised if we had been 1-0 down after a couple of minutes. So it was written.
What the fuck does one have to do with the other?
It doesn't have anything to do. Levy wasn't on the pitch,
right?
As far as I remember, because that would have been a really fun cup final if Levy.
With an engraving like that, it's no surprise that the beer tasted flat. With an engraving like that, it's no surprise that there was a car out front with a flat tire. With an engraving like that, I'm not surprised that the Earth is still spinning around the sun. Like, what the fuck does one have to do with the other?
Oh, well,
Jesus Christ! He gave us a gift, therefore we lost. Fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so like we do a lot of critical thinking skill like teaching on this podcast. Johnny, you know this, right? So if you were fuming when you read this, after listening to us, think to yourselves, who do you think is right? That sounds really pompous, doesn't it? I don't give a shit. Another one. At the post-match reception at the hotel, I had the impression that some people from the club and certain players were not sufficiently despondent at having lost. I would have liked people to come up to me and say, "You're a fucking narcissist." He doesn't say that bit, I added it. Don't worry, Hugo. Never again. Oh my fucking God, it's like me going up to one of my staff who's done a boo-boo and going, patting them on the head. Never mind. Does it make you feel better that I'm saying this to you? Does it really? Why don't you do your fucking job and do it better next time? I don't know what... right, that's half the paragraph. I'll read the rest in a minute. This is bonkers. I'm seeing Spurs fans lose their head over See, the fish rots at their head. I've seen on Twitter, the fish rots at their head. Obviously, we're never going to win anything because the fish rots at their head. Hugo Lloris was really unhappy because they were partying after losing the Champions League. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Hannah, this is where you come in and say something really interesting.
Well, I'm going to annoy you because I had to jump off because you sounded like a robot, so I missed a lot of the quotes.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll read it again. Sorry, listeners. At the post-match reception at the hotel, I had the impression that some people from the club and certain players were not sufficiently despondent at having lost. I would have liked people to come up to me and say, "Don't worry, Hugo. Never again. We'll give you the means for a comeback." We're talking about a grown man, by the way. We're not talking about Mikey Moore.
Yeah. I think that's
so
difficult. I get it.
Come on, mate. How can you get it? How can you get? Tell me what you get. What do you get?
Look, you see, whenever you see like a final, right, and you look at the players that have been on the losing side get their medals, and I'd say about 8 out of 10 of them either don't put them on, they just sort of take it in their hand and walk off, or it's put the medals put on them and they then take it off themselves and just discard it. Like these players don't give a shit about coming second or whatever. Like they just want to win, and that's why, after that Champions League final, we saw so many of them just in absolute bits, and it just goes back to the point where I think some of the attitudes at the top level of the club don't reflect that same sort of willingness and desire. And I think where that board has been so involved in the past, and I'm pretty sure they are still now, it just seeps down and it feels like there's not an expectation, there's not a drive, there's not a clear goal of silverware in mind. It's, oh, well, we need to do this, and if we, pick up something along the way, happy days, amazing. Which isn't the mentality of any professional footballer or any professional coach. And I think that's the key difference between sort of them and us.
That's all well and good, but he didn't say that. So I'll paint a picture for you. I don't have any children, but let's say I've got a 5-year-old son who's watching the Champions League final with me. And at the end, he's got tears in his eyes, and I turn to him and I say, what's my son called? Hannah, give me a name.
Spaffy.
Spaffy. Don't worry, Spaffy. We're going to come back, okay? Don't worry about this. That is... Like, if Hugo Lloris was a 5-year-old, I could understand him saying this, because that's the kind that an adult would say that to a child. An adult expecting that shows the level of man that he is.
Yeah. I think you can actually take that whole quote and bifurcate it in two. Taj is right, and you're right, James. Absolutely, there's people that probably didn't take it serious when they lost, from the head all the way down through the players that just kind of said, all right, well, on to the next one, and kind of were joking around and having a good time, even though they lost. And also, Lloris made it all about himself, saying that he wanted people to comfort him. I'm assuming because he was in the captain's role, that might be why, I don't know, but wanting to be comforted because they lost. So, yeah, I think they're both true. He can fuck off, and yes, the club mentality could change.
Let's continue. But when I returned to my room on the night of the final, I think I had the same feeling as Mauricio, who just happens to be in America, same place Hugo is, and Harry. Does the club really want to win? That's a good question, by the way. Real Madrid would never have celebrated a lost final, and we shouldn't have either. Now, how true is that? Now, if the club actually celebrated, I think that's despicable. But I didn't hear about us we would have seen it somewhere, right? We would have heard of it, wouldn't we?
Unless they mean in the hotel, like after the game and everything, or they had like some drinks and that arranged.
Right, but hotels aren't closed off to the players. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I feel with social media, we would have known about
We would have
it.
known. We would have known about something. Yeah.
Did
Did you see anything from like the winners' like parties? No.
But I don't support Liverpool. I'm sure they were out stealing hubcaps. I'm sure alloy wheels, their price went up. What do you want me to say? I don't support Liverpool. I don't. As soon as the final whistle went, I left the fucking pub disgusted. Right? I still to this day have never seen them. And when every now and then when they do like this little montage of different teams raising cups, as soon as I see that it's Liverpool Henderson about to raise it, I turn it over or turn the TV off. I haven't actually seen them lift it, and I never will. I don't want to, as I feel as disgusted as I did back 5.5 years ago. So I don't know if this is true, right? Okay, everything was hard after that for Mauricio and for us. The club had finally invested in recruitment, but we hadn't gotten over the Champions League final, and the squad wasn't sufficiently reviewed. And that's not to mention, sorry, my screens just went off. Thank you, screens. And that's not to mention the tensions that would only grow following a decision by the club which would affect the team's day-to-day lives. A decision made without the consent of either the squad or the manager to install cameras everywhere for Amazon's series about Spurs. In light of the sum mentioned, around 10 million, we wondered, so we, not me, whether those whose season and activities would be affected, or those being asked to mic up each day would get a cut. The answer wasn't slow in coming. No. Interesting. Over to you.
He's just rehashing old shit. I mean, I'm kind of with Han at this point. He's just trying to sell a book. I don't know. I could not be bothered with it. It's in the past. It's in the history. I don't know. Whatever.
I think we probably, as a fan base, probably all agree that the All or Nothing documentary came at a bad time.
Yes.
I think we can all agree, and you could see that on there. But I just find myself not caring. Is that bad?
No.
Should we do some math? If you take 10 million, it's math. If you take 10 million, divide it by 25-man squad, it's 400,000. Lloris was on 200,000 a week. Does it really matter?
Nope.
So, when the film crew placed little microphones on some of the canteen tables, we went and sat at other ones. We had to be careful all the time. The only place where we could speak freely was the training dressing room. We got them to agree that it would remain out of bounds. Otherwise, they had mics and cameras everywhere, even at some practice sessions, which was no small matter. It was a constraint, and it had consequences. I agree with that. If I was the owner of a football club, I would never have done that. But it did raise the profile of the club, but I would never have allowed that kind of access.
But I mean, they probably still had final cut over what was shared. They're not going to let them.
They did.
Yeah.
They did,
so
yeah.
So like he could have talked about how much he bummed a dog when he was 14. They're not going to share it because they're gonna review things. The club would have reviewed it before it aired. So again, Lloris, he's just trying to sell a book. He's got people interested. He'll sell some books because there's interesting stories, but who cares? Back to you, Hannah.
I'm with you, Johnny. I really am. Yeah, I'm completely with you on that. It's just I mean, again, this is there's three sides to every story, isn't there? So there's probably some revisionism, sensationalism, opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all it is, really, isn't it? It's the equivalent of just going on Good Morning Britain or something like that.
Do you want me to continue, or shall we just...
I'm done with it.
Yeah, I'm done with it too.
I think Taj fell asleep.
Do you guys want to do the... Look, we've got an international break coming. If you want, we can do the cancelled thing now, which may take some time, because none of you know what the subject is about. I do. And it may take some time, and maybe we do a show next week where we just cover the cancelled part, because we have been going for how long? Over an hour.
Yeah.
What do you think, guys? Yeah, I think we wrap it up here.
Yep.
Before we do, though, we've got a few more questions. So, did I read Sean Wren's question out at Shaun, so SHAUN_WREN? When will fans finally realise that Harry Kane saved us so much over his career? The project when he wasn't around was always going to be difficult. Yeah, but he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone, and I don't think anybody's ever disagreed that without Kane we would have been even more shit.
Yeah,
I've never met a single fan that said, "Oh, we could have gotten rid of Kane, a decade ago. We were fine." I don't think so.
Yeah, I think the thing about it though is that I think we had an era where Son and Kane were two of the best players in the league, two of the best goal scorers, just unstoppable, and we never built anything to them, for them, around them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just shows the club's sort of priorities. We've always been like really close and never gone that step. Or we've had some great players, like we had Modric and Bale. I meant to say firing, and again we just didn't sort of take that step. And we bring in fucking a combined age of 145, Luis Saha and Ryan Nelson, to try and help the title bid. And yeah, I feel under the ownership, it will always be a case of shoulda, woulda, coulda with Tottenham.
Yeah. I think that
ride it out.
I think that we're classy in all the wrong things. I'll give you an example. So, if you believe it or not, I sort of do believe it, that Harry Kane was locked out of Hotspur Way when he went to go and get his stuff to go and say goodbye to the players before he left to go to Bayern Munich. I believe that. I believe certain things that happen at the club where you hear ex-footballers, not the Paul Gascoigne one, but other ones. The thing about David Pleat, by the way, he came out and he said that it wasn't Daniel Levy who said to him, "It's all about stats now." That wasn't Dan. And I actually heard him on a podcast where he said it wasn't him. It wasn't Daniel Levy, because Daniel Levy got really offended by that and contacted him. That David Pleat didn't even know that was said in the article. He contacted the journalist and said, "Please remove it," because that wasn't said by Daniel Levy. It was said by someone else at the club, and they did. But we're not classy in a lot of things that we can be classy at. We're classy at building amazing stadiums, hotels, and training complexes, but we need to up our game on the other things. And anyway, it is what it is. Like, we have final question. Well, Sam Fisher, I think we've answered that. What the fuck just happened there? How, why? It is what it is. And then we got George at Don't Follow It in 82. Fucking hell. That's going to be a cheery one. It's all about this pod. If Son told you in confidence that he's been noncing, would you grass him up for the betterment of mankind, or keep it to yourself for Tottenham?
I didn't hear that. What was the question?
I love repeating stuff. If Son told you in confidence that he'd been noncing, Do you know what noncing means?
I think so.
Would you grass him up for the betterment of mankind or keep it to yourself for Tottenham? Johnny, what would you do?
That
Maybe
silence
giggling
is
nonsense.
deafening.
You've got kids as well, so
How much do you love your kids, Johnny, basically?
Would you let him babysit?
Would you let Sonny cook fish fingers for dinner?
That's a good one.
That's a
Betterment
really
of the club.
shit
Betterment of the
question.
club.
Go away.
Betterment of the club. Betterment of the club.
Oi.
wow. Yeah, if Josh was on, he would ask Son to look after his kids, wouldn't he? Now he's got 16 of them.
Yeah. Fuck, he's got some to spare.
Projects.
Hannah, what would you do?
Oh God! Oh, I can't abide a nonce. And to be fair, his contract's up soon, isn't it? So
1 minute, I've got you know how George always leaves loopholes. Was this in Lloris's book, mate? Because if it was, I don't believe it.
is this a spoiler?
Yeah. They fell out, didn't they?
It was the watch thing that did it. Grass. James, what would you do?
Yeah, I think on the same lines of you. That had a contracts up in the summer. I mean, it works out all right, doesn't it? It make Levy happy as well. A few notes off the wage bill each week. Oh, Couners will love that.
I would
wet dream.
I would seek out the BBC PR team, ask them for their Jimmy Savile playbook, wait for him to go, then die, then release the information. And with that, I think we're done. Hannah, do you want to tell people what they have to do?
Please will you leave us a 5-star review on Spotify?
Can you put like some
Apple
more heart
Podcasts?
into it instead? It sounds like you're reading off a teleprompter, and I know you don't have one of those.
It does, doesn't it? I don't
Yeah.
have one of those. Put more heart into it. What? No, because I said some horrible things the other week trying to get people to do it, and it was really rude, and I felt really bad about it. So essentially, please can you leave us a review, and we will love you very much. Is that enough heart?
It is, and why don't you tell your mates to listen to it as well? There you go. If they like listening to racist Spurs fans on a podcast, this is the one for them. Hannah, say goodbye.
Love you. Bye.
Say goodbye, Todge.
Bye all.
Johnny, we love you loads. It's so good.
Thank you.
To have you back. Say goodbye, mate.
Absolutely. Been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye for me.